Thank you, Nolitato, for that. Ooh. I hope you guys can hear me now. Wow. That means I must start all over again, doesn't it? Of course it does. Let's try again, shall we? Good morning. Again. Welcome to the Cheez Morning Sports Show. On today's show, we'll be chatting about, we'll be comparing Bafana 2024 to Bafana in 2000. We'll touch on the beef, Rhulani Mokwena and Hugo Bro's beef. Then lastly, we'll chat about Sir Radcliffe, the new owner of Manchester United, wanting or eager on replacing Eric Ten Hag with Gareth Southgate. Bafana will be playing in friendlies. Well, or is it qualifiers? I don't know. Let me double check. Anyway, so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Bafana made it to the AFCON, or well, they won the bronze medal in the AFCON. And I'm like, well, which was the last team that won? Well, not won, but made it to or won the bronze medal in the AFCON. It was the team in 2000. Then I went back, I did my research, and I thought, oh, this is a pretty good team. And I decided, let's just compare them to see which one was the better team. Which players would you rather have in your starting 11? The players from the 2000 team, or the player from the 2024 team? So without further ado, I think let's start with that, shall we? So what's going to happen now is that I'm going to pick a player which I feel is better, so we can make a team a very strong team. You guys will let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. At goalkeeper, Arendse or Williams. So 2000 was a very different time to 2024. Football was different. Goalkeepers weren't expected to be ball players as they are now. Ball players as in do basically what players on field can do with the ball at their feet. Williams is a very good goalkeeper with a ball at his feet, and he is a great shot stopper too. So if I had to choose between Arendse and Williams, honestly, I'd have to go for Williams, and it's not even a recency bias thing. I just think he's a better keeper. So Bafana played 3-5-2 back in 2000 under coach Trotmoloto. So I had to tweak the team a little bit, but humor me, please. At right back, we have Kulusa Mudau or Mark Fish. Mark Fish, of course, is not a right back, but because they were playing with three center backs, I decided to, pit him against Mudau. Modao is right back, a very good one, but sometimes he's too casual. And I still haven't forgiven him for that miss against Nigeria in the semifinals. So I'm going to have to go for Fish on this one. At a left back, Fortune or Mudiba. Fortune was playing more as a left wing back in the team in 2000. But either way, whichever position he played, he's a better player than Mudiba. So I'm going to have to go for Fortune on this one. At center back, I think I made a mistake here. It was Isa versus Mvala. Pierre Isa, guys. I don't know, maybe I was younger back then, so maybe I didn't see his qualities, but I can never forget what he did in the 1998 World Cup. Those of you who are younger maybe do not know what I'm talking about, but highlights of that game I'm sure you can find on YouTube right now of South Africa versus France in their first game in the 1998 World Cup, and Pierre Isa's performance. Well, in the highlights they'll just show the France goals, and when I just look at Pierre Isa's role in those goals. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to go for Mvala. My other center back, Hadebe or Kekana. Kekana, very good player, but Hadebe is Hadebe, guys. In the midfield, Tinkler or Sitole. Sitole, very good player. Tinkler, I think he's a bit more mobile than Tinkler was, but let me be honest here. I wasn't back then. Obviously, I was younger, but as a ball player, I think Stolle is better. Tinkler was also great, but I'm gonna have to go for Stolle on this one. Also in the midfield, Ngomeni or Mokwena. Ngomeni, a legend in South African football. A Bafana legend. An Orlando Pirates legend. I'm going to have to go for Ngomeni. Sorry, Mokwena. Attacking midfield, Moshweu or Zwane. Mokwena. Moshweu or Zwane. Moshweu is one of the best players South Africa has ever produced. He was quick, he was skillful, he was crazy as a footballer. As in crazy good, not like mentally ill. So Moshweu or Zwane. Zwane, also another skillful player, but Moshweu all day. On the right, Nkelele or Morena. Morena. In the first game, Hugo Bros started the game with the young boy from Mamelodi Sundowns, and he saw it didn't work. So from then on, he started playing Morena. Morena right now in 2024 versus Mkelele in 2000. I'm going to have to go for Mkelele. Like Mkelele back in 2000 was playing more as a right wing back, but I think he's quicker, more decisive, and just a better player. Mkelele coincidentally is his assistant coach of Bafana in 2024. On my left, cutting in, or not cutting in, but on the left side of attack, Nomvete or Tau. Tau at the AFCON, guys. Yo. There's nothing more I can say. But either way, whether he played well or not, he's not a better player than Nomfet. And of course, up front, we have Bartlett of Makhopa. This one is a easy one. So there's my 11. At goalkeeper, we have Williams. At right back, Fish. At left back, Quinton Fortune. My center backs, Mutobi Mvala and Lucas Radebe. My midfield trio is Pepelo Sitole, Thabo Mngomeni, Shoes as my attacking midfielder. My attacking trio is Helman Mkelele, Siabonga Nomvete, Sean Bartlett. You guys, let me know if you agree with my list, with the players I've picked as the first 11. Or, well, when we compare the two teams. Because I think this is a pretty good team. This is a pretty good team that would beat the 2024, or well, that would do well in the 2024 AFCON. Moving on. Ooh. Rhulani Mokwena and Hugo Bros have issues, and these issues did not start this week or the week before. It seems as though Rhulani Mokwena does not like his players playing for the national team. When Sundowns were playing, when his players were away with Bafana, Sundowns had a couple of games to play and they didn't perform so well, which is very strange because Sundowns have every team's best player. So is it a Bafana problem? Is it a Hugo Bros problem? Or is it a Rhulani Mokwena problem that if his main guys aren't there, or well, his starting 11 are not there, his team cannot win games? But after the AFCON, they have been doing well, winning games. Actually, let me check. Because I know they've been winning games with the likes of Temi Gosilach. Mamelodi Sundowns. They've won 2 of their last 5 games. I mean, it's okay. But they won the crucial game in the CAF Champions League. They've been winning the games in the CAF Champions League, which I think is important to Rhulani Mokwena. I think this is the trophy that he wants the most. They've made it to the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League and they're playing young Africans. As you can see, this is not so far from now. It's the weekend after next. So he wants his best players available for selection. As I'm saying before, Mamelodi Sundowns did play after the AFCON with because they couldn't play with their first team players who are playing for Bafana, and they drew in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. They won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 8. I mean, that's not bad. And to think that he still hasn't integrated all his Bafana players back into the rotation of the squad because players like Kuliso Mudau, Motobu Mvala have been injured. And he's blaming Bafana for that. So now Hugo Bros in this international break has called up a few Mamelodi Sundowns players, and Rhulani Mokwena is claiming that they are injured. But Hugo Bros is like, hold up, dog. Where is the proof for that? And Rhulani Mokwena is like, no, I do not need to give you proof for anything. This whole article there you guys can read. So I don't know what you guys think about this. Is it we know that teams cut the checks for these players and they cannot afford for these players to be injured. Because of the national team, because of what the national team wants. But on the other hand, these players, and I'm sure most of them, would love to represent their national team. Should what's his name? Should this process of asking players from their teams, should there be a level of transparency between the national team coach and the club coach regarding injured players? Should there be standard protocols as in to say, because it seems as though Hugo Bros wanting a medical report over the supposed injured players is not the norm in football. So clearly, it's a situation where Hugo Bros does not trust what Rhulani Mokwena is saying, which is unfortunate. If the national team coach and the club coaches do not trust each other, then the team is the one that will suffer. But Rhulani Mokwena should know that with all the players that he's buying, that his team is buying, they're buying the best of the best in South African football. So the other side of the argument would be he should, this is bigger than him. This is for the country. I don't know what you guys think. You guys will let me know if Rhulani Mokwena should, what is it? There's a word for it, man. There's an English word for it. Should have a responsibility, or should think for the national team first before he thinks of for his team. That's a tough one. But you guys will let me know in the comments. Let us chat about it and see both sides of the argument. Lastly, what I wanted to talk about is Sir Radcliffe. Oh, I spelled his name wrong. Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Ooh. Of course, he just bought a stake in Manchester United recently, and it seems as though he's not happy with the current management of the team. It is said that he wants to lure Gareth Southgate to Manchester United. Full disclosure, I'm a Manchester United supporter. And in all honesty, I'm a Manchester United supporter, and I'm not keen on that. I am not keen on Gareth Southgate being manager of Manchester United. What we need to realize is that the Manchester United problem goes deeper than the manager. The Manchester United problem, of course, started with the ownership. He's now part of the ownership, so I suppose things will change. And like I'm saying, it's not a Gareth Southgate thing, even though I don't think Gareth Southgate is some great manager. I don't know before England what was he managing, and was he doing such a great job that now he needs to manage one of the biggest clubs in England. But it went from the ownership, the board, management, and the players. So from the ownership down to the players, everything is rotten at Manchester United. If you can take a look at the squad right now, how many of Manchester United's first 11 can walk into Manchester City? Or how many of the Manchester United starting 11 walks into Tottenham? Maybe Casemiro, but the guy is like 100 years old. Definitely not anybody in the back line. Okay, let's start from the goalkeeper, Onana. I mean, it's Onana. And then Varane is past his prime. Martinez is okay. Dalo, Wan-Bissaka. Shaw, I guess Shaw is still pretty good. I'm talking about players who are not injured. I'm just talking about what would be the first 11 if the whole team is fit. Casemiro, Mainu, Fernandes, maybe Casemiro, Mainu is still young. Rashford, Hoyland, still young, and Garnacho, still young. So the future of Manchester United is Mainu, Hoyland, and Garnacho. And they're still very young. I mean, all these players are under the age of 23, if I'm not mistaken. And what should be happening is sticking with the manager that you do have and trying to build with those three players, rather than trying to change the management. If you're changing the management every 3 years, what are you doing? I mean, it took Klopp, if I'm not mistaken, 3 seasons to get Liverpool firing on all cylinders. At Manchester United, you got 2 years max. Is it pressure from the supporters? Is it pressure from the board? Or what? What can a manager do at Manchester United? What can Eric Ten Hag do now for them to be set for, let's say, the board? Because obviously Radcliffe is not the only one making the decision. But what would he need to do from now? Manchester United are 6-7 in the table, if I'm not mistaken. What would he need to do now to convince Radcliffe that he is the right man for the job? Win the FA Cup. They're in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Manchester City is still there, so they're not going to win that. Qualify for the Europa League, which is 5th. I mean, it's possible. They're not going to qualify for the Champions League, which I suppose is they performed worse than they did last season, because they did qualify for the Champions League last season. But this is a different season. Liverpool were better. Manchester City were better. Arsenal were better this season. Tottenham were better. Newcastle were better. While Manchester United didn't improve. So that could be the case. Other teams improved. Manchester United didn't improve. Gareth Southgate is not going to make a difference. If anything, he's going to make things worse at Manchester United. And the English media are going to eat him alive. If I was the Manchester United board, I'd leave things as is. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. You guys will let me know if you think Eric Ten Hag should go, and if should he go, do you think Gareth Southgate is the man? If not Gareth Southgate, who? Anyway, apologies for starting late today. I had technical issues on my side. Tomorrow, I promise to start earlier. This is your boy Cheez with a Z, not a SE. And let's chat tomorrow or debate tomorrow about everything football and everything in the world of sports. Later.